So of course yesterday evening when I went fishing, of course I didn't film it, and of course I caught something. On the third cast I actually ended up with a mackerel for dinner, and it was absolutely delicious. I'll try and put a little image just in the corner here so you can see exactly what I ended up catching, but wow, it was absolutely delicious. And so I just came down to this cove today because it's a beautiful day, and there was a local fish shop here that caught some fish just off the bay. It's a working harbour, so I bought some plaice and some hake to have for lunch. Because the tide's low, there's no point in fishing until this evening, so we're going to chill here and have some lunch, and then we're going to head off and charge the van. This is my lunch. It is some hake, some plaice caught right out there in the ocean nearby, and I've got some sea beet in there, some black mustard and the flowers of black mustard, fried in venison tallow with a bit of salt, and also the Babington leek flower heads. And I've just been letting it fry up really gently, and it's about ready to eat, but this looks absolutely delicious. But I'm also really enjoying it on the east side of the coast. I'm not actually suffering anywhere near as much as I was before, so whatever's in the air, I mean, of course pollen plays a part, I don't dispute that, but pollen on its own in an environment where there's no agriculture, no cars driving past, I don't suffer the same way. It's all the particulates that have settled on the pollen or changed the pollen in some way that is causing my issues. And I mean, there we go, we're right near the coast and I'm not suffering at all. Of course there's probably less pollen in the air, but there's also less of the particulates and everything else. So it's I know I keep going back to this, but it is something that we do have to address, is the state of our air quality. Even in the middle of nowhere, I was looking it up, and particulates can travel over 600 miles in the wind. So it might not be necessarily coming from the Cornish coast completely. We got an easterly wind, which means it could be blowing it across, even all the way from Southampton and all the cities over there. It could be blowing all the pollution all the way down to this end. Now normally there's a southwesterly wind coming through, and I wouldn't suffer then because it's coming straight off the ocean. It's not coming over the land from all the cities and things like that. But wow, it doesn't get better than this, does it? That is absolutely delicious. What was I going to talk about? Completely forgotten what I was going to talk about. So I'm probably going to have to end up buying some local fish and local wild meats for the next week. Until the weekend we will have to see, because the coastline is quite choppy at the moment, and trying to fish off of the rocks around there can be quite dangerous, especially if you get a freak big wave that could potentially wash you off of the rocks. So I'm going to keep an eye on the wind, because if it dies down in the evening then potentially I could go and have a fish, but it's not guaranteed. So I'm just making sure that I've got food in my belly, and I'm going to have to find some more sea beet somewhere, because I've run out of sea beet and my other things. So it's going to have a look around the coast and see if I can find some more wild greens to add to my stores. It's also good to support local businesses too, instead of going to, like, say, the supermarket and buying just something off of the shelf there. It's a completely different way of eating, being on this wild food diet, and I'm 2.5 months in now. There's only 2 weeks to go. That is crazy. I've done 70, I think I'm on day 77 now, if I'm thinking correctly. And it's actually become quite an amazing way of living. It takes a bit more preparation, a little bit more effort to make sure you've got food for each day, but eating only wild food is just wow. It's I feel amazing, and definitely something that I'm going to continue to incorporate more into my diet moving forward. There's a few things in here that I could harvest without even walking far from the car. There's a load of sea radish around here, so I might collect some of that. There is some that's just starting to go into flower, and that would be quite delicious. So I've been having a look at that. The sea beet unfortunately here has gone over, so I don't know if I could gather a lot of that. It might still be okay, but we'll see. There's also a bit of young sea radish down there too, so I'm going to have a quick wander around and gather a few things before I head off. There's a lot of rock samphire along this coast, so I'm definitely going to take some of that with me. Aha! I found a load of sea beet just hiding in here that I can harvest. So that's amazing. I'm going to gather some of this. Whereabouts is your line? Is it in this way? Nice. I got a bite, but it just didn't quite. I just keep getting seaweed. That's a good size. I just came along to this pier here, and there's already people fishing and catching loads and loads and loads of mackerel, so fingers crossed we get lucky today. Oh, have I lost it? Oh, I think I've got one. Yeah, I've got something on this line. Yeah, I got a bite. There we go. Yep. Oh, just at the right time. It just dropped off. It just dropped off right as I got it to the shore, but there we go. And that is done. I ended up catching 4 mackerel in the end. I didn't do a very good job with these fillets because they were just, I need to get a proper filleting knife, but I'm just going to give them a little wash. If I can get this water turned on. Oh, there we go. That's going to be trickier than I thought, but yeah, if I just do it on a trickle, that works. So I'm just going to give them a quick wash, and then we're going to put them in the pan and oven cook them in a bit of foil, so that they come out real nice. So I'm just going to do that. See, look at the state of that fillet. I've really made a mess of them. But they're still going to be good eating regardless. 4 fresh mackerel. How good is that? and I just left the rest of the body to nature because I just don't have the facilities to process them properly. So this will do, and the rest can be fish food for other fish in the ocean. It's such a beautiful area down here. I wanted to check it out for a while, but now I've had a chance to. I'll definitely come back here one day. It's actually quite a few fillets, more than I expected, so this is going to be quite the meal. Man, I made a mess of this one. That's so good. The east coast is just constantly, the east side of the lizard is just constantly catching. See, look at the state of these ones. I really messed that up big time. So the way I'm going to prepare these, instead of just grilling them as they are, which they're still pretty nice that way, I'm going to sprinkle a bit of salt in there, and then I think the salt will really add something to it. And then we're going to put some of these Babington leek flower heads in here, and I really love this, and I've run out now, so I hope that I can find something oniony or garlicky on the way around here. I mean, I could probably find some wild garlic or something and get the flower heads off that, but I've only seen Babington's leek on the north side. To be fair, I'm not far from the north side of Cornwall, so it would be pretty easy to try and get around there. Perfect. And I'll probably cook it like that. I'll just wrap this up and put the lid on and just roast it in the greaseproof for a little while. I might wrap it in a tiny bit of foil just to give it some extra heat retention, and that should work quite nicely. Such a beautiful beach here. Cornwall is just so amazing. Oh wow. Unfortunately, you can't camp the night on this beach. There's signs up now, so I'm probably going to find somewhere else to park this evening. It's such a shame because I could sleep right here and not suffer from any allergies at all. The wind's coming the right way and it would be absolutely amazing, but unfortunately I'm going to have to little dog. But I'm going to have to find somewhere else to park for the night. But wow, this is my view for making dinner today. Here is the finished thing. It's just been roasted. This is my way of an oven in the camper. Just wrap it up and put it in the pan. And it just may not look like much, but it smells absolutely delicious. Everything's kind of moulded together with all the flavours. So it's kind of like a fish pie in a way without the crust. So I'm just going to enjoy this here at this beautiful cove, and then I'm going to go find somewhere to park up for the night. Wow, so I've just been fishing off of Blackrock. It's been quite a productive evening. I caught myself a mackerel. I didn't film it because it's a very messy business trying to deal with fish and use a DJI camera. And then we also have this dogfish courtesy of the fishermen who are just next to me. They caught one, they didn't want to eat it, so it's going to be some extra food either for today or for tomorrow. But wow, this is an amazing catch, and I'm going to really enjoy this. I've just started making my way back up from the lizard. I'm near Megabissy at the moment, and I'm going to start making my way back to Devon because I realised the date and I wanted to spend some time over on Slapton and maybe see some friends on the way back. So I'm going to start making my way back up there, hang around this area for a day or two, maybe carry on up the South Cornish coast. It's the next day. I've just been preparing my setup for cooking up this dogfish. But it's just amazing. It's just amazing that I've managed to have that for lunch. This is what I love about the fishing community, and again it touches on community. We wouldn't be able to do some of this diet without other people and their generosity. And the fishermen have been absolutely amazing during my journey along the coast. If they're there on the side and they catch something and I'm talking to them about the Wild Food Project, they quite happily donate their catches. And I think that's just crucial. Trying to do it all on your own is very tricky, and I've had the most fun and the most enjoyment and the most fulfillment when I've been with other people, either from the wild biome study or just meeting people around the coast while I've been fishing. It's just been an amazing experience. And thank you to those two fishermen. I now have some dogfish to cook up for breakfast or brunch, I suppose. It's almost lunch. But with dogfish, they have a very tough, sandy, sandpaperish flesh, and they can be a nightmare to skin. So what Miles Irving showed me, and what we did in the previous video, is we just put them into an oven. Now I don't have an oven, so I'm just going to do it in my pan, which doubles up as an oven when I wrap it in foil. And we're just going to lay the fillets. Well, we're just going to lay the bodies out in there. I don't know if I have enough room. We'll see. There's another one here, and one more little one to go into there. So we're just going to sprinkle it with a bit of salt. That usually always makes things taste better, doesn't it? I'll probably do that, and then I'll flip them over and do it again. And then we're just going to, I should have had a bigger piece of greaseproof, but this will do. This will have to do. And then we just wrap everything up in there like so. And that creates a trap for the heat. And I'll just roast that on high heat. For the amount that's in there, I'll probably do it for maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Here's the finished thing. We have the dogfish just nicely roasted in this foil, and now, as you can see, when it's fresh, it's an absolute nightmare to peel the skin, but now it just flakes right off, and it's an easy job to remove it. And then you can get to all this nice white flesh underneath. I came to check out this wild strawberry spot that I know about where I'm staying at the moment, and look what I found. They're not quite ripe, but they're ripe enough to eat. And wow, I see another one actually. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Look, I see one hiding just in there. Even though they're whitish still, they do have some flavour, and they are still perfectly, deliciously edible. It's one of my favourite fruits to harvest during this time of year. Well, actually, it's usually later in the year that they're ready, but this year they seem to be just a little bit early. These will be ripening properly before the end of June, when usually it's not till July. Yum, yum, yum. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, it's actually been 2.5 months, or just over that now, since we started the Wild Biome project, which means there's less than 2 weeks before everything ends, which is crazy. I've got all these routines kind of sorted out now, and it just feels so natural to live off wild food. So when that comes around, it just feels strange that I'll suddenly be able to access normal things, and I don't know how much I will have. I mean, I'm still probably going to go back to raw milk in some degree, but not as before. But it's just wow. And the first thing I'm going to have to eat that's normal is the disgusting test muffins, which I didn't video at the start, but I will video when I take them on the 21st of June. But wow, what a journey, what a journey it's been. And I don't really have any words at the moment to express how I feel about it all, but it's just in my body, it's just so natural, and it's kind of a part of me, or I'm a part of nature and the rhythms and the cycles, and it's just so grounding and amazing to sink back into that. And I don't think I'm going to completely change after this. Now that I've gotten back into some kind of rhythm, I don't think I'm going to slip too much far away from what we've been doing. It's just my body feels great, I feel great, mentally too. So, wow. Can't believe it's almost been 3 months.